Hello, I'm back. This would be, I think, part 12 of our series of videos on reclaiming securities. Everything is related to reclaiming our securities, ones that have been presumed abandoned. Well, they've all been presumed abandoned, quite frankly, unless you reclaimed them or claimed them, meaning not let go of them in the first place. Today, I want to touch a little bit on the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which is in the United States, and in Canada, they call it the Canada Deposit Insurance Corporation. This is regarding deposits with a bank. The banks often offer deposit insurance. And I talked in a previous video that banks don't actually take deposits, and it might seem like a bit of a mind bender at first, but it is true. They take the deposit of, like, you deposit $1,000 into a bank account, and they show you a little uptick in your account balance. That's really, they're just mirroring the credit there. They've actually taken $1,000. The bank has taken it and put it in their general fund in the aggregate, which the bank is taking title to your property, and they can do whatever they want with that. And we've been funding our own enslavement. If you haven't seen that picture yet, that's what's going on here. We're funding our own enslavement through these external organizations, banks, so on and so forth, governments, human institutions, all ungodly. And there's not a man, woman, or woman on this planet that's been appointed by God to govern or rule over anybody. Give your heads a shake if you think otherwise. Or think on it anyhow. But anyhow, so deposit insurance is what I'm talking about. And why is there deposit insurance? It's simply this. And I got this from going to the Bank Act here in Canada. Again, I deal mostly with Canadian legislation. You'll probably find the same in your own legislation wherever your butt's at on the planet here. But going to the Bank Act, so I wanted to look up the definition of deposit one day, and it referred me over to the Canada Deposit Insurance Corporation Act for the definition of deposit. And that's where I got quite the eye opener. It's in Schedule 1. The Canada Deposit Insurance Corporation Act, the meaning of deposit. And it's telling you right in there that when you make a deposit to the bank, it's a demand loan to the bank. So the bank takes the title to the funds. You make a deposit on general deposit. Term here is general deposit. The bank takes title to the funds, your property, the fruits of your labor. They do what they want with it. They mirror the credit in your account, which is basically saying we owe you this much. So if you ever want to draw down on your account, that's when the bank basically has to put up the money or to refund your account, so on and so forth. Put it that way. So the reason that they're putting insurance on this is because you're not aware that they're doing this, or basically they're taking title to your property. They're taking title to your funds. And let me touch on something here. There's people out there that think these dead entities, these legal entities, create anything. These legal entities do not create anything. They have no rights to anything. They didn't create anything. They can't contract. They got no consideration. They bring nothing to the table. So people are thinking the government owns this birth certificate. No, they don't. It belongs to you, your mom. Dead entities don't create anything. Life creates life. Dead does not. It's impossible. Again, think on that. This copyright mumbo jumbo. It's when you're dealing in Wonderland, sure, but when you're talking about when you bring the man or the woman into the picture here, into the dead stuff, the dead don't own anything. They don't own your birth certificate. They don't own the name on it. They don't own the registration of birth. They don't own the information on that. They might say they do, but they don't. They didn't do anything. They don't create anything. They can't. Men and women do. So with the deposit insurance, you make a deposit of, say, that $1,000 in the bank. The bank is taking the title to it unknown to you, and it's doing that on general deposit. So because they're taking this from you, what belongs to you, they have to put up insurance. That's why they're putting up insurance. It's a bond, basically, to indemnify the depositor up to a certain amount. I think in Canada it's 200 or 250,000 per institution. You'd have to read through the Deposit Insurance Corporation Act. It's all in there. Point being is that they're putting up this deposit insurance because they're actually stealing what belongs to you, because it's stealing because you don't know what's going on. So let's call it quasi criminal then. You don't want to get too stiff with the term stealing here. Whereas this is the thing, when the lights came on for me, excuse me, if it's a special deposit, so if you made that $1,000 deposit, but you put it in special deposit, the bank doesn't take title to it. There is no deposit insurance. Why? Because your money's there. They can't take it and squander it and do something with it. Which, if there's a run on the bank, here's why people run in a bank. The reason people run in a bank, there's a run in a bank because all those deposits are in general deposit. The bank has taken title to it and squandered it, whatever. Everybody get a run on the bank, and everybody wants to run the bank and get their money out. There's not going to be enough money there. It's not. They're not that liquid, the banks, to produce it all. And that's why you get the run on the banks, and some people get money, some people don't. Just partaking in insanity. But if you put it in special deposit, then the money's there. So if you put in $1,000 today say $1,000 bill with the serial number 12345, you go back 5 years from now in special deposit, that same $1,000 bill would be sitting there, the same 12345 number on it. That's what special deposit is. So bank can't take it. So therefore they don't insure it. There's no need for an insurance. And if you ever need it, it's there in trusts. You're bringing in the trust aspect too. To this under special deposit, where it's, like I say, the same with our securities. They're presuming we've abandoned them. They're presuming a general deposit. So we say, no, I didn't abandon that security, and we claim special deposit. That's an interesting angle in and of itself. What they're going to do, come back and say, oh, no, you didn't give it. Let me add to this then, too, for the understanding here, is if you don't stipulate special deposit, it is deemed general deposit. So again, there's a level of ignorance here, because who in their right mind would say, here, bank, I'm going to make a deposit of $1 million or $1,000 or whatever, and you can take it and use whatever you want with it. And when I need it, you just make sure a couple of my checks are good. If the banks don't do it that way, when they do with us, they don't say, oh yeah, just take the money and pay us when you can. No, it's pay or else. And there's contracts and signatures and promises to pay all sorts of stuff. So that's so that you see the difference between special deposit and general deposit is evidenced in the deposit insurance. That's why they're putting up insurance. So anybody can tamper with your property. Anybody can trespass against you or your property, like the banks are doing here, but they are putting up the insurance to cover what they're doing, to protect you from what they're doing. They are damaging your estate. They're taking some funds, all right? And if there, for whatever reason, there was a run on the bank and you were not able to get didn't get there soon enough, you couldn't get your funds out, then well, your estate's been damaged because of what they've done. And but like I say, even then, deposit insurance only covers to a certain amount. And so that gives you a bit of a heads up on the difference between special and general deposit. And whether it be securities, cash, it's all securities, it's all negotiable instruments. And that'll give you a bit of an understanding on that, maybe why they have this deposit insurance. So again, the difference is general deposit, the bank takes the funds, taking title to your property. That's what's happening. You can look it up, go on the internet, look up general deposit, look up special deposit. I found one court case in Canada, 1912, I think it is. I got it here on my computer, where the court talked about where the bank had put a lien on funds on deposit with the bank. Well, the court says, well, the bank doesn't have to do that. It's not the bank's already got the funds because it took title through general deposit. So the bank doesn't put lien on its own funds. You know what I'm saying here? So the court was basically saying, if you read between the lines, it was the manager that had done that. He had put a lien on somebody's account there to secure the funds to the bank, but he didn't realize himself, the manager, that under general deposit, the money already belongs to the bank. So they're already in control of it. Again, that's why they put up the insurance. So today, certainly there was no such thing, I don't think, as deposit insurance in them days. I'm not 100% sure, but that is definitely the case now. And so you're thinking, okay, so I make general deposit, the bank takes title, but if I write a check, my check is good. No problem there. But if I put it in special deposit, the funds are always there. If I write a check, the check is good. So it doesn't seem on the face to be a whole lot of difference. But there is, like I say, if everyone, I'm not promoting this, I'm not telling people what to do, I'm not suggesting people run out there and tell their banks I want special deposit. You go get beings of free will, you make up your own minds in this. But if everyone on the planet stipulated special deposit when they put money in the bank, guess how big those big tall bank towers you see out there and all that monolithic buildings and all the power that they have in wealth, you'd start to see this come like this. Not only that, it would go underground when they had to start giving everything back to us, because they wouldn't have the use of the funds, of our property, of our funds, our credit, to do it whatever they like. They can do whatever they want with it. You say, we're paying for our own bondage here. We chose bondage and we're paying them to keep us in bondage. Time to wake up. Maybe. And so, yeah, a special deposit and general deposit and deposit insurance, so on and so forth, is all relevant to reclaiming your securities. It's the whole underlying theme of the whole game right across the board. They don't make promissory notes. It's our signature on there. We're the ones that it's a one-sided document. There's only one signature on a promise to pay, right? Yours or your wife's or whatever. It's your note. It's not their property. The dead produce nothing. Nothing. You know, you can relate this to automotive insurance. Why do you have to provide proof of insurance, contract of insurance, if you're operating a car on the roads? Because it's not your car. You know, it's not your car, so you have to put up the indemnification for the owner of the car, which would be the true trustee. You see, you're mixed. We're all mixed up in how things should be operating here. But it's the same thing with the bank. The bank is putting up insurance because they're taking your property, unknown to you. Your car, you think it's your car, but it's not your car. Yeah, you'll end up with legal title, and the government will have the beneficial title, but that's backwards. Truth is, they've got the real title in the background. It's already been registered. When the vehicle comes off the assembly line, it's registered for the first time. The NIVIS form we talked about before, the new vehicle information statement, or the manufacturer certificate of origin. Which are also securities, by the way, presumed abandoned. So you see how you can get your control back on the car. You really start to think about this stuff. Jesus, a security for everything. If I claim that security, secure that security. And in our process here, we claim one underlying security secures the whole thing. So I say the security agreement's really a piece of work. But that's why you put up car insurance. You have to provide the insurance because it's not actually your car. So the bank has to put up insurance to indemnify you because it's not actually their money they're taking, or you didn't authorize it. We don't know that they're doing this. We don't know the difference. It's not like you walk in the bank, it says, if you make a general deposit, it means this. If you make a special deposit, it means this. If you want to make a special deposit, you have to tell us specifically you want a special deposit. Otherwise, we will put it in general deposit. There's no disclosure like that anywhere in these institutions. I've never seen it. Never met anyone that has. In fact, very few people are aware of this general versus special deposit. Richard Werner maybe, although we never seem to get into that detail. But neither here nor there. So that's why I have to provide insurance. Same on your home. Now, let me step back here now. It is part of your divine inheritance, these things, but because the things we have done and the things we haven't done, everything is backwards. You see, it's backwards. So we're performing the functions of the trustee, and the real trustee is enjoying the benefit of the beneficiary. They got us running around like chickens with their heads cut off to fill out this, to fill out that, to do this, to do that, to report all the income at the end of the year, to report. What do you think you're accounting to? You're accounting to the... If you're doing the accounting, it's not yours. It's because it's not yours. That's what trustees do. You have to account to the owner, which is really, like I say, is the beneficiary. That's what we're doing here, but it's backwards. We're the beneficiary. They should be doing all of that. And we're the beneficiary again through a proxy. Maybe I'll do if I can do that one or not. I might be getting into too much detail here relating to how we do business through the proxy, but it's all part of the Reclaim Securities information package. So I'm going to stop there. I think you can think on that with respect to deposit insurance, what's happening there, general or special deposit. And then your automotive insurance, same thing. So, and you can, fit in any other places where you're paying insurance, and it's all because right now everything is backwards. If it truly is yours, you don't need to put insurance on it. The insurance is to indemnify someone else. For example, one last thing here then, you can go on someone's property and cause, say, $100,000 damage on $1 million property. But if you got a $250,000 bond here to indemnify the owner of the property or whoever's being injured here, all name, game, and liability stuff, other things aside here for the moment, you're good to go. So anybody can trespass. It's not that it's proper to trespass, but if there's a trespass or somebody trespasses, as long as they put up a bond to indemnify the injured party here, the potential injured party, then it's done on the up and up. And so this is why I say to people, if you're, well, that's a whole nother video in and of itself with respect to the bonds aspect of things, but you always want to make sure you're out bonding them. And when we reclaim all of our securities, so on and so forth, well, then they're basically literally dead in the water. They can't come on land. If you watch the newest Pirates of the Caribbean, the ghosts and the pirate ships and Admiralty, all the fictional entities, they could not step on the land. If you see when one comes up to the beach, he's walking in the water. As long as he's in the water, he's okay. But then the water retracted there a bit. He was in solely in sand. He was gone. Whereas Jack could come and go on land and sea. So, little symbology things going on there. The difference between the living and the dead and Admiralty and on the land. So, I think that's enough for this thing. I just wanted to mainly focus on deposit insurance and the reason for that. Give you a little more insight to the system, the world you're living in, stuff we're not informed of. we're not aware of what's going on here. How did the wealth shift from the people to them corporate entities from the 99%, if you will, to the 1%? Our ignorance, I'm telling you, my people suffer for a lack of knowledge. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today, is give you a little more insight into this, the system, things are going on in the system, things we have a lack of knowledge of, give you a little bit better idea maybe what the world in which we live, and some information you might find valuable. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for putting up with me. God bless, love you, and talk to you soon. I bid you adieu.